I just say this: the government doesn't have a legislative agenda in the Senate. I mean, it's the Monday of this sitting week, and we've got the government saying, guess what, we've run out of legislation in the Senate. We want to go to the address in reply, the same old tried and true delaying tactic that governments use when they have to fill Senate chamber time. They've already gone to that at 8:25 p.m. on the Monday night of the sitting week. Wow, well, where is the government's agenda? Where is the government's agenda? Well, the government doesn't have an agenda for the Senate, and you know why? You know why? Because you've just spent the day in the House of Representatives trying to gain a wedge on the Labor Party, to abolish the Building Australia Fund because you want to talk about drought. You've had a situation where the Prime Minister is so focused on playing politics, he hasn't even wanted to allow the shadow cabinet to meet to determine a position, hasn't wanted to allow the caucus to meet to determine a position. He's so desperate to make sure he gets a political wedge up. And you come in here and so embarrassingly don't have any legislation for the Senate. You've got to go to the address in reply at 8:25 p.m. on the Monday night of a sitting week. Well, what are we all doing? We're all sitting here waiting for Mr Morrison to decide to get the votes through the House of Representatives, which he hasn't got as yet, on legislation to abolish the Building Australia Fund because he wants to try and wedge the Labor Party on drought. Well, if you ever wanted an example of a government that doesn't have an agenda, you have it now. You have it now with Senator Ruston sitting here saying, well, you do what you want, Senator Wong, because we don't have any ledge. We don't have any ledge. I've got an address and reply I want to get in on. That's what I want to do because I've got to delay tactics as the government manager as long as possible. Oh, here's Senator Cormann. Here's Senator Cormann. Oh, he's now coming in to make up an agenda. You're on to the address and reply at 8:25 on a Monday night because you haven't got any legislation. Well, I say the Senate should adjourn until you've got an agenda to debate. The Senate should adjourn until you've got an agenda to debate. The reason you haven't got an agenda today is because you've been so focused on playing politics in the lower house, you haven't got any legislation through. You could have put legislation through the lower house today. Could have put legislation through the reps today. But you haven't. Instead, you've chosen to delay because you want a debate, a political debate on the Building Australia Fund abolition. That is entirely what is occurring.